Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome into today's reading. I'm hoping that this message can bring you guidance, can bring you clarity. We're going to talk about the astrological shifts happen up there in the cosmos. We are going to go deeper in with some oracle and some tarot messages, but today we do have Venus. We've got Venus in Aries retrograde moving back into Pisces, and it is going to almost immediately conjunct Neptune. And so this really is the dissolution of those romantic fantasies. I want to say those romantic fantasies. This is where we shift from that bold, fiery, independent energy of Aries to the Piscean energy of surrender. And so this conjunction is happening at that 29th degree, that anaretic degree. We've got Neptune moving into Aries in just a few short days. And so for any of you with strong Aries or Pisces placements, I do want to say, get ready for some type of crisis connected to love. This is the closure of all of those karmic relationship cycles. If you find yourself in a twin flame dynamic, I do believe this could be resurfacing at this time, and it might just be for closure. And 111 on the timer. I just feel we are in this portal of the ultimate spiritual reset. So I'm really excited to see what comes through with the cards today. So stick around, guys. You're not going to want to miss this message. There is such a strong message about needing to look deeper. I don't know if you remember on the cut, but we did get that. We got that magnifying glass and the cloud on the cut. And as we see, that did come out as the first and the second card. And then the third card that came out for the oracle messages today, we do get the mask card. And so first, let's get into this and let's talk about the magnifying glass. And so this is saying, hey, you got to look deeper. You've got to dig into a situation here. This is not just at an external circumstance. This is also looking deeper internally. It's a 44 card. And so there is this energy I feel connected to the 4 of Cups. 44 is a master number. And so there is a realignment here. And I do think this definitely connects to that Venus retrograde slipping from Aries back into Pisces, especially with that conjunction with Neptune immediately after. And so we've got these themes of illusion coming through today. There could be projections, there could be hidden truths, and these energies certainly are heightened. And so look deeper. Examine this situation closely. There is something in your current situation here, whether it's love, personal growth, or spirituality, that does require a deeper look, maybe even a second look. I want you to ask yourself, are you seeing things clearly, or are your emotions clouding your judgment? Because then we go from the magnifying glass to the clouds. I am using the Gilded Lenormand deck. And so this is speaking of confusion. This, as we can see on the card, is almost like this energy of duality. We get the shadow or the darkness versus the light. It's a 6 card. And so there is almost a lover's quality coming through on this card today. And what I want to say is there is an element of uncertainty. It is connected to the King of Clubs, which is also connected to the King of Wands. If you remember yesterday, the King of Wands, I believe, came out as the central energy in reversed in yesterday's reading. And I do feel this is almost like a tag along reading to yesterday's message, just a different perspective here coming through. And so I don't know exactly what's going on here because it does feel a little bit uncertain. I do feel you could be receiving mixed signals from a person, or you could be giving mixed signals. I do feel emotions feel very fluctuating up and down between clarity and doubt. And so I do feel this is a huge indication of an external situation here. I do feel you're dealing with another person. It could possibly just be your own subconscious fears, but there's a block. I want to say there's a block that is in your way, stopping you from fully seeing the truth of a situation. So once again, it's important to ask yourself, are you projecting your fears or your desires onto this situation? Is it really what you think it is? Because then we go from the clouds to the mask. Look at the imagery on this card. It's a 40 card. And so there is like a underlying Page of Cups energy. And this is all about authenticity versus projection, right? You think about going into a fun house. You walk into a fun house and there's all kinds of mirrors. Is it really what you're seeing? Is there illusion here, or is this reality? And so I do feel this is a warning against a certain illusion here, whether you've created this illusion or there's an illusion here influenced by somebody that you're dealing with. But I do feel you're likely dealing with somebody here that is not revealing their true intentions, their true emotions. There is definitely what I feel a situation here where things are not as they appear. And I do feel there's probably this energy going on of a lot of emotional projections, whether it's fears, hopes, or past wounds. I do think this is really shaping how you are interpreting your current situation. And so the message, I think, with this card, take the mask off. What is below the surface? What is true? What happens when you take that mask off? And then on the bottom of the deck, we get the man card. I want to say the younger man, because in this deck, there's a younger man and there's an older man, and they both are a 28 card. And so there is somebody here at a crossroads. And this is connected to love. We get the Ace of Hearts, which is similar to the Ace of Cups. And so I feel there is a man here. He could be younger, or this could be somebody that's been waiting for a long time since they were younger. But I feel the energy of divine timing connected to romantic communication. I want to say romantic communication. So this could represent you if you resonate as a masculine, or this could be a masculine energy. I feel a counterpart energy coming through today. I do feel a love interest, or maybe somebody you're inquiring about that you're not with, and there's a sense of waiting, of divine timing, because on the bottom of the deck, it's what we don't see coming. I also feel this masculine is going through a rebirth, because below him on the bottom of the deck was the 13 card, and it is connected to the Knight of Swords, which also came out in yesterday's reading, but in reversed. And so I feel somebody here is guiding, or spirit here is guiding this masculine, but there is a sense of waiting in divine timing, because there's something here that needs to come full circle or into focus. There's something here connected to this masculine, I feel, that hasn't been fully revealed yet. And so I do feel this is hinting towards romantic communication on the way, but there's an illusionary energy here showing up in this spread today that I feel is crucial for this masculine to discern. And maybe you need to discern, is this communication coming in? Is it genuine? Because if it's not genuine, then I think it could very well be based on fantasy. And so there is a strong urging, I feel, in the energies today to question what is real versus what is illusion, especially connected to love and emotions, especially connected to this Venus retrograde and Neptune in Pisces. This really is like the classic setup of energies for idealizing a person or idealizing a romantic situation or even a self-perception here. And so I just feel this reading really is saying reality check, reality check. And so I feel there's a need to kind of sit with your truth. Sit with your truth, remove your mask, and see this situation for what it truly is, not what you hope it to be or not what you fear it to be. Because the tarot is really telling a story of mental turmoil, a need to go within, a need to re-identify with self. So let's talk about this top row. I am using, what deck am I using? I am using the Mystical Moments Tarot deck. And so we get the 10 of Swords upright. Look at the imagery. I just love the imagery on this deck. And so we see a woman with like a beehive hairdo, and we've got all of these pins, or consider them swords, pointing at her, right? They're all pointing at her. And so I do feel there is a feminine coming through that is hitting a mental breaking point. I do feel this is an indication of hitting rock bottom. So I feel there's a feminine coming through very strongly. I do feel this is a darker energy. This is an unhealed, wounded feminine energy coming through that I feel is in a deep undercurrent of resistance and is struggling, is really struggling, and is kind of hitting, I want to say, a mental rock bottom. It feels like mental exhaustion. It feels like this feeling of being utterly betrayed, overwhelmed. You see all of these hands pointing at her. And so I just feel something here is happening on a mental level. I think somebody keeps running in loops over and over analyzing, analysis paralysis. This can even mean self-sabotaging energies. I just feel we could also have a feminine here that is feeling attacked or under pressure because of a false perception here. And I do think this does tie into the mask card. I really do. And so I don't know if there's a feminine here wearing a mask or she's dealing with a masculine wearing a mask. But I do feel there's somebody here trying to perceive something in some type of an illusion. And I do feel this is connected to an old cycle that does need to come to a close. No matter how painful it is to face this ending, because the next card out is the Wheel of Fortune. I love this card. I love all of the gears kind of shifting. You see all of the gears, all of the wheels moving. And so this has already been set in motion. I just want to say resistance to moving forward is futile at this point, right? We are going right into eclipses. Again, the second eclipse of the month. And so something here has already been set in motion. You can't rage against the machine, right? There is resistance to a destined event or destined shift. It's almost like there's a feminine here that doesn't want to accept an ending or that this change is inevitable. And the wheels are saying we need to remember life moves in cycles. What goes up must come down, right? And so I feel there is a big illusion of control or somebody trying to control a situation. And that could probably be where the real pain is actually coming from, is the realization that controlling this isn't going to happen. And it's never been in our human hands. It's always been in the hands of the divine. Because then we go right from that to the Ace of Pentacles. And so there's something here that runs deep. I want to say deep. This seed was planted so long ago. Look at how far down that seed is sprouting from on this card. And so somebody here, I feel, has waited very patiently for a fresh start, a tangible opportunity. And maybe the seeds have been planted for growth, for future growth. But I feel the intensity of these first two cards that came out in this top row, there's a lesson here that needs to be learned from all of this pain. And it's going to lead to a beautiful opportunity for growth, for planting a new seed. But I do feel a release. It's almost like I'm going to stick to this at all costs. And I feel somebody's holding on to a situation here. I feel a unhealed, wounded feminine is holding on to a situation here because of all the time. And I feel it isn't really bearing fruit. And the Ace of Pentacles is going to come once somebody lets go or opens the door to that new opportunity. That's when the physical manifestation will come. And there's something here I just want to say that isn't bearing fruit, okay? And so really, I do feel somebody here is stuck in a lot of pain and replaying the scenario over and over and over in their head. And it's funny because I watched a short little clip yesterday, and it was such a profound message. And we will replay over and over and over and over again in our head what our heart wants to heal. And so I just want to say change is happening here, whether somebody likes it or not. And so that top row, really, I want to say, is suggesting an ego death, a deep ego death, a karmic shift. There is a new beginning, but there's rage and resistance here is what I want to say. And it's not going to come without a fight. There's an ending here leading towards a new beginning, but I don't think it's coming without a fight. So let's talk about this middle row, because we get the Eight of Cups in reversed. And this screams to me emotional attachment below that Ten of Swords. That's what this screams to me, is emotional attachment below that Ten of Swords. And so I just feel somebody is refusing to fully walk away. This is what it feels like, or keeps looking back even when they know they need to move forward. It's like the end of the road, Jack. I want to say it's the end of the road, Jack, and don't you look back no more, no more, no more, no more. And so something truly has run its course, yet there's still so much hesitation accepting that reality. That's the message coming through. And so there could be fears of abandonment. There could be loss. There could be regret, causing somebody to stay in a very emotionally and mentally draining situation way longer than they should. So I do feel there's somebody here that knows the situation is over, but yet they're struggling to let it go. And so this so tightly ties into that Ten of Swords. And then we get the Hermit card. And so I just feel this is a card of searching for meaning, or maybe somebody is searching for attention, because we see a mermaid figure sitting on top of a lighthouse, and it appears to be sitting on the earth or a globe, and she's going fishing. She's going fishing. And so they're showing me the imagery of somebody seeking external validation, really, rather than going inward. And so I don't know if somebody's on dating sites. I heard dating sites, seeking that validation. I do feel this directly does tie to that Virgo South Node energy as well, which is connected to old karmic patterns within relationships, especially around self-sacrifice, overthinking, and control. And that ties into that Ten of Swords. And so I think something here is being brought to light. And I do feel there is this feeling of, whether it's true love or not, I'm going to stay here because I need that validation. And so I do feel somebody here is just avoiding the inner process, because I think they are avoiding going through the depths of loneliness because they're seeking attention from people here. And so, and then we get this Six of Pentacles in reverse, and I heard karmic debt. So there is an imbalance here. I want to say twin flame reflection. I really do want to say a twin flame reflection here, because if you look on the card upright, they look like twins, but there's an imbalance here. And so I want to say a false twin flame situation here. There's a major imbalance, I got to say, connected to giving and receiving. There definitely is an imbalance here, and it could be financial, it could be emotional, it could be a mental imbalance here. Somebody, I think, is feeling like they're not getting what they feel like they should deserve, whether it's love, money, or an energy exchange. And the mirror imagery, I do feel, is evoking almost like a twin flame dynamic, a false twin flame dynamic. And this is a situation, I feel, where one person overgives, the other person takes. And this is a cycle, I feel, connected to a lesson in self-worth. And so there's a karmic debt here. That's a very strong energy coming through. And I think somebody really is stuck in a cycle, I want to say, of people pleasing, codependency, and staying in an unbalanced relationship because they want to get what they deserve out of this. It doesn't feel good at all. And I think there could be this energy too of staying in a situation because of the financial struggles. There could be hoarding of resources out of fear. And it doesn't just have to be tangible resources. It can be energetic hoarding. It can be physical hoarding. And so I really do feel this is so deeply connected, where I feel this is screaming resistance to letting go, is screaming fear of abandonment or seeking external validation rather than embracing the true hermit's path of true healing. And so I feel we're kind of at a breakthrough moment. There is going to be a moment of truth. We get that Knight of Swords in reversed. I believe he came out yesterday too. And then it's interesting. We see this Knight of Swords. I'll flip it up right. We see a woman actually floating on a white flower above the forest, above the trees. So I find that interesting. It very well could tie into the twin flame reading earlier this week. So go check it out if you haven't watched the twin flame forecast. It's carrying with it a very similar energy here. But I feel this is an energy, I feel, of somebody really stuck in a cycle of regret, blame, or playing a deceptive game that's finally kind of being exposed here. And so I just feel there's this energy of hesitation. There's this energy of doubt, or even blindly following the crowd instead of making an independent choice. And I just feel this is so connected to somebody holding on, because the Knight of Swords upright is fast, decisive, and speaks truth. And so there is some type of lie here, I want to say. I just feel somebody here is so detached from reality, is what it feels like. Somebody here is really avoiding maybe even direct confrontation. There's fear, I want to say, of speaking up, because it ties into this Eight of Cups in reversed, which is saying fear of making the wrong move or holding on to something that basically is already falling apart. And you know when it's over, and we hold on so oftentimes way longer than we should. And whether it's out of control or just not wanting to take ownership of what's going on here. But I do feel there's a lot of regret, self-blame, and lack of awareness with the Judgment card in reverse. And so we see this woman blowing the trumpet. We see the angel wings. And there's some type of status quo, I want to say here, because she's in between the corporate world, the third dimensional world. And I just want to say status quo, status quo. And so there is like a wake-up call here that's been ignored. It's like this refusal to face the truth. There's a woman blowing this trumpet, right? And I just feel somebody here is stuck in an old cycle, unable to break free, and maybe due to external pressures because of that status quo energy coming through. And what I'm hearing right now is self-recrimination. This is deep regret. This is blaming oneself for past mistakes and possibly even a harsh inner judgment. And so this also does speak to needing to learn the karmic pattern or a lesson that isn't learned yet, right? If this isn't self-blame, it could be a refusal to take responsibility. It could be blaming others instead of seeing your own role in a situation, swap it around. But the last card out in this 9-card spread is that Five of Swords. And so this Five of Swords is pretty interesting. Somebody's game is being exposed. We see the man in the shadows here with his torn out heart, and it's all kind of patched up there. And we see this woman in the forefront, and she's dressed in red. She's acting innocent. She's hiding behind this white rose. This is screaming deception, hidden agenda, and it goes right back to this woman at the very start of the reading on the Ten of Swords. And so there is a woman here, I feel, that is pretending to be something that they are not. I heard self-interest, and so this woman could very well be at an unfair advantage. I feel someone in this situation, I feel this woman in this situation is manipulating something to her own benefit, possibly at the expense of this masculine that appeared in the oracle messages. And we're going to talk about the bottom of the deck with the tarot here. Just give me a minute, because this is juicy. This gets pretty juicy here. And so there is a sense of betrayal, I feel, a feminine that is very self-serving, backstabbing, out of a painful realization that somebody, I think, is leaving her. But I feel this woman's been playing games all along, and I think this game is being exposed. I think this woman is being called out or seen for who they truly are. That's really what I feel here. And I feel there's been hesitation. And so what I feel is there's a lot of truth being revealed. There's a lot of truth being revealed. And I feel the bottom of the deck really ties it all in, because this is connected. This does tie into a divine masculine's awakening. Without a doubt. I do feel there's a divine masculine here that maybe hasn't been seeing the truth about a karmic situation. And I do feel there is a twin soul connection here on the road to reconciliation. But I'll tell you how this all ties in, okay? Because on the bottom of the deck, we get the Three of Wands. And so when this card came out on the bottom of the deck, what I heard was combing through the braids of lies. And so somebody here is combing through the braids of lies. Once again, we see all of the tall standing buildings, which to me is status quo. And I'm like, spirit is like hounding this masculine to see the truth. You see all of the birds. And so this has been what I want to say is a long time coming. And then I feel we've also got this emperor here that has been strategizing and preparing. And he too, I feel, has been playing games though, because he's got all of these people like puppets on strings here. And once again, we get the braids. And so I feel there's a mirroring deception going on here, combing through the braids of lies. And so I also feel we've got a masculine here, because we go from the Three of Wands to the Emperor to the Nine of Swords. Oh, and he just kind of fell down. And so something here is falling down, I want to say. The lies are coming to light. And then we get this Nine of Swords. So there could be people around the masculine that have a lot of ulterior motives or are influencing him. And I do feel he feels like he's being watched. Like all eyes are on him. He's being judged, which I feel has also created some type of hesitation here, where a masculine, I feel, has been waiting for the right moment, but has been unsure when to act. And I also feel there's a divine masculine here awakening, watching his counterpart. And I think there's guilt here. I think there's anxiety. There's guilt about feeling trapped. I think there's a masculine here that has had a lot of sleepless nights, filled with regret, worrying about the consequences of his actions and how the heck he's going to be perceived if he breaks out of this situation, because all eyes are on him and he knows people are watching. But he also knows he can't stay in this cycle forever, because something here is being exposed. And so I do feel there's a limit here being reached, and there's a masculine that has to overcome this fear. And I do think it's connected to a manipulative woman, unhealed feminine, wounded feminine energy here that he's probably been connected with, that knows his heart belongs with his Empress, because we go from the Three of Wands, the Emperor, the Knight of Swords, to the Knight of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, and the Empress. And so there's a divine counterpart situation here. There's no doubt about it. And so I feel there is a divine masculine here that does want to reconcile with his true divine counterpart, his true divine feminine, who I want to say is just abundant. And then you see the birthing energy there. You see something growing. And so this seed, I want to say, was planted a long time ago. And so there is slow but steady progress. And I actually have one of these beautiful big plants upstairs in my kitchen. It's the Monstera plant. It's called the Monstera plant. Monstera leaves there. And so I think they got to face their inner monster, though. There's like a big monster here in the background that has really prevented this deep soul connection to come together. And I want to say, due to some type of past life ties that have come between this twin flame energy. But I do feel the Six of Cups is saying he is remembering. He's remembering the love, the bond, and the purity that was once there. And there is this deep longing for home. That's really what it's feeling like. There's a deep longing for his true counterpart. And so I want to say this divine feminine is in all of her power. She's in her power. She's in the energy of love, creation, and healing. And this is everything that this masculine has been missing. And so he does see her, I want to say, as his destiny. But he knows he has to be in his emperor energy if he's going to be standing beside her. And so ultimately, I feel there is a reunion on the horizon. I do feel there is a karmic cycle ending. There is a divine masculine here for sure, breaking free from some type of karmic illusion. The wheels are set in motion. The wheels are spinning him forward. And I think there's a very hard truth here that needs to be faced, connected to an old pattern and undoing all of those braids of lies and stepping into that emperor energy. And so although things I feel are moving very slowly, it is moving. His heart is leading him back to his divine feminine, but I think his biggest challenge is going to be facing his fears and like, oh my gosh, what are people going to say when this all comes to light? And so I don't think it's just about reunion. I do feel it is about the masculine awakening and fully stepping into his power before coming forward. And so there is a powerful karmic cycle closing. So let's pull one last oracle card for a closing message. Let's get a divine doorway. What divine doorway are we walking through? Yes. Yes. Kiss the ground and touch the sky. Your soul is set now to leap and fly. And so I do feel there is coming together of some type of splitting of energy. And so I think the energy is saying yes. And we'll take a peek on the bottom of the deck. Birth. We are walking through a major gateway here. And so there is a new life unfolding with blessings for you. So get ready for change.